You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, apes and punks, to another live AMA session. We're just waiting to see that everything is streaming as supposed to be. We are live on Twitter. We are live on YouTube. Hello, Maya and Alan. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions, who's been inquiring over the last few days. I know there's been a bit of uncertainty, so that's why we're here. We've brought in the big guns to clear everything up, to kind of provide some clarity and sort of enlighten us all about the situation with Synapse. We have Chief Product Officer Maya Naor and CEO of North America Alan, who will be addressing concerns from across the scope, everything and related to the Synapse and how it affects, especially you, and what we're doing to essentially take care of the user fund. But without further ado, let's go into the question, and we're starting with Alan. So I want to ask Alan, to give us a bit of a background on Synapse and INX, the relationship. How did it come about, and how did it, get to where the point that it is today?
Yeah, sure thing. And thanks for joining, everybody. This AMA will specifically just address the Synapse issues, which are the most pressing right now. And I think we're going to do another AMA in the near future to discuss other topics. So I know there's other questions coming in about Republic and other issues. So we will have another AMA soon, put that on the calendar. But we did want to hop on just to address Synapse and questions there. And yeah, we're very pleased with actually the outcome and how we navigated this. So just to give you some history, Synapse came along with Open Finance. So when we acquired Open Finance, it's been, I believe, 3 years now. Synapse was already in place. And so they have always operated as kind of the banking tech vendor for our banking partners. Information would flow through them, and then they would instruct the banks to set up accounts for each depositor, each customer of ours. And so we've had this since the Open Finance days, and we didn't love it at all times, the Synapse functionality, but it had everything that we needed. It's to have a 24/7 operating ATS, which services retail, which services U.S. customers, outside U.S. customers, around the clock. It's very challenging in this environment, especially to find good partners that can service all of your needs. We navigated successfully around Signature and Silvergate failures. We had no exposure there. And so a lot of these fintech partners have also left the space, disappeared, don't have the full functionality that we need. And so, so Synapse has always kind of worked well for us in terms of servicing a 24/7 platform. So Evolve historically was kind of the underlying bank where the accounts were set up in each customer's name. And then in October of last year, Synapse also kind of pivoted to putting on the front end Synapse Brokerage, which was a licensed FINRA broker dealer. So you probably got a notice in that respect a few months ago, or back in October actually. So that's kind of high level the history of where Synapse came from.
Okay, thank you, Alan. We'll move to Maya for the next question. Does this change affect both securities and crypto accounts?
No. So as you know, at INX One, you can trade both securities and crypto. The trading is handled kind of differently between the two platforms in terms of custodying of the underlying asset, yes or no. But as this whole change has focused around Synapse and the fiat relationship on the security side, It completely does not affect the crypto side. There, everything continues operating as usual, and we didn't have to touch anything on that side of the platform, really. So on the back end and the front end, you'll getting the exact same experience as you're used to. By the way,
Okay, thanks,
sorry,
Maya.
Lulu.
Alan,
Lulu,
I
sorry,
want
I
to
just want to say, sorry, now that I say that, I want to add that also on the securities, users are getting the exact same experience they're used to, right? On the securities, it was more of a back-end change, but on the front end, customers can expect the exact same experience that they're used to.
Thank you, Maya. Well, I want to ask Alan about the speed at which you managed to have a solution up and ready. So how was that possible to sort of go from a shaky situation with a partner bank to a solution in very, very short amount of time?
Yeah, we had been thinking about this solution for a long time, either as a backup plan or as something we would consider to pivot to at one point. So, for a couple of years, we've been discussing this, planning this. So, we were pretty ready to implement it very quickly, and that's why we were able to do this over a weekend of a lot of hard work. But nevertheless, the team cranked out night and day the solution and got that done. And also I should probably just step back and just give just very brief why we're where we are. So Synapse filed for bankruptcy at the end of April. And at the same time that they filed for bankruptcy, they announced that they were going to get acquired by a company called TabaPay. So that kind of happened on the same day. Fast forward, TabaPay withdrew from the acquisition of Synapse. And so Synapse was kind of left in a more precarious situation where they were heading towards a bankruptcy liquidation. And I've joined a couple of the bankruptcy hearings, and due to some disagreements between Synapse and the underlying banks they work with, which are Evolve, Lineage, AMG, National Trust, it caused issues in with the circle of banks and with Synapse that resulted in Synapse shutting down the systems and the connections between the two. When that happened, it started affecting us and processing client withdrawals and deposits. And so we made the decision to step in the interest of keeping our customers' funds flows active and protecting our customers and protecting the integrity of our ATS, and made the decision that we did. And I'll kind of go into more details about with other questions that address this, but that's high level is why we ended up where we are right now. The likely outcome of this is that Synapse will fail to. They'll go out of business at some point. They'll be liquidated, and all the customer money has always been at the underlying banks, which are Fed banks that are insured banks. So there's never been any issues there, and no concerns there. And what we did was really to bridge the gap while things are frozen until there's resolution with the bankruptcy courts, with Synapse, with the underlying banks. So sorry, David, I know I'm just kind of jumping around there.
No, that's a brilliant and detailed answer. I want to kind of follow it up with what is the current solution, specifically what bank or is INX currently using, and is INX fronting the money to the customers, and if so, does that bear interest? So that's sort of a hybrid question that addresses the current situation to which we've found ourselves in.
Yeah, so we are essentially fronting the money to keep everything flowing. So while the Synapse and the banks work out their issues, money has not been moving, and it's just sitting at the underlying banks. So yeah, what we did is we essentially offered a temporary credit to the customers so that they didn't lose access to their funds. and with the idea that once things resolve, that the money would move to the client accounts, the credit would be pulled back. So bottom line, the customer balances would be the same as before and now and after, just keeping things steady state. We mentioned that we opened up a new bank account to service the customer deposits and withdrawals. So that bank account was set up at Bank of Montreal, BMO Bank. We have an existing history with BMO that goes back many months. So they were a good bank to use for this situation. So existing history in the space, very important. And this was set up in the name of the INX transfer agent, which is another one of our subsidiaries, which is a regulated SEC registered transfer agent. So the account is set up at BMO Bank, and it's specifically titled under INX transfer agent for the benefit of INX securities customers. So this is a segregated account. The only purpose of this account is servicing customer deposits and withdrawals. And it also, I guess, should give comfort as well that it's under another one of our regulated entities. So it's under INX transfer agent.
Cool. Thank you for that. And regarding the, we explained the how. I want to understand the why. Why is INX taking this liability for customer funds?
Yeah, everything that we do is about operating a sound, customer-friendly, regulated, and 24/7 platform. So it was very important for us to step in and make sure clients weren't affected. I think that historically we've always kind of operated with this vein. Some other companies may have handled this differently, may have just put things on hold for several days or weeks. We saw that this was kind of an open-ended conflict between Synapse and the banks. We didn't know what the time frame was. We didn't know what the outcome was going to be. But bottom line, we just didn't want customers to feel that. Synapse wasn't our fault, but it also wasn't our customers' fault as well. So we just didn't feel like it was right for them to hold the bag. So we all came together very quickly to put together a solution for this so that customers wouldn't feel it.
Thanks, Alan. And Maya, to that point, how do withdrawals and deposit work at the moment after the situation?
So, like I said before, for the users, for the end users or customers, they simply need to follow the instructions, the new instructions, I would say, on the platform. In the past, they would send funds when they would make deposits into certain banks. Now we have the updated details of the bank account at BMO, which Alan just explained about. So customers can simply direct a wire to those new bank account instructions. When they want to insert a withdrawal, same as they've been used to this whole time, they insert their withdrawal on the INX One platform and indicate the bank account details to which that withdrawal should be submitted. So that withdrawal will be processed by the new bank account at BMO. David?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm saying it's as simple as that.
I'm freezing up a little bit, but
yeah, I realized, because I was going to say it's as simple as that. This was one of the things that we were trying to achieve, right? To kind of continue the platform operating without any changes to the customers. So that's what they're used to doing anyway. For the deposit, they just should notice that they're directing their funds to this new account, to the new bank account details.
So that brings me to the next question, which is the agree form. There's a new pop-up form on the platform, pop-up form that people have to agree to. Alan, can you explain a little bit more about that form?
Yeah, sure. So very simply, the form is saying that we're offering you a temporary credit on your account balance while the accounts are frozen at the underlying banks dealing with the Synapse issues. So we're using operational funds of INX's. We're gonna give you a credit so that your account balance is unaffected, and that when things resolve, that we're gonna return back to the prior state. So the credit is only a temporary solution. We obviously can't give you a double credit for the money at the banks and then also the money from our operational funds. So the agree form is basically just laying this out for you, that we're bridging the situation until there's a solution, until the funds are unfrozen, and that when things are unfrozen at the banks, that credit will be repaid, and your balance will come from your bank account, from your bank account at the underlying banks. So that's kind of the agree form in a nutshell.
So, Maya, what happens if I don't want to agree?
Well, if you don't want to agree, then unfortunately, we can't let you operate with this balance that we're crediting to your account in the interim until funds get unfrozen, like Alan explained. And in that case, you would have to contact customer support, and we would have to withdraw that credit from your balance until matters are resolved. We can't let you operate. We can't let you insert trades and use those funds if you don't properly agree to this, give your proper consent for this interim solution that we're trying to bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially
Cool.
without
And finally,
this.
yeah.
Sorry, David. Yeah, so yeah, essentially without this bridge, you would have no access to fund flows. So so declining just basically means that you're going into a frozen state, and not accepting our help, essentially. So.
So what about when is it going to be live again? So Synapse is, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. So yeah, I think
Hello?
like I mentioned earlier, I think the likely
Okay,
outcome.
so when do you know when Synapse is going to be live again?
Yeah, so I think as I mentioned earlier, I think the likely outcome here is that Synapse is going to cease to exist. They're probably going to end up liquidating Synapse, and they're no longer going to be the IT front end for these banks. So that may happen somewhat quickly over the next couple of weeks, but in any case, the funds are at the underlying banks. We will continue on with the current solution that we provided with new funding instructions to BMO Bank and the new account. And yes, but I think Synapse is probably no longer going to be in existence pretty soon.
Alan, I
Are
just
you looking
want
for
to,
alternatives to Synapse?
David, sorry, just Alan, for the previous point, we were discussing what happens if the customer doesn't consent. I just want to, be sure that what I said is clear. So when I said you would essentially be saying you don't want our help during this time, we would have to withdraw the credit. But if you wish to deposit new funds to the BMO account, that's fine. But it just means that you're refusing this credit that we're offering you in the system, and we would have to withdraw it before you can proceed with inserting new funds. So I just kind of wanted to clarify on that. Sorry, David. Yes.
No, we have the last question, and that is, are you looking for alternative service providers to Synapse?
Yeah, we're always On the lookout for new vendors for banking and for IT services, and we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to look for another provider. I think this is an evolving situation, so we may be at the current state for a while, which is fine because everything is operating as intended. But yeah, we are assessing this with other potential vendors. We've had other discussions with other companies that are a mix of custodian and bank, and yeah, so it'll be an ongoing process to see what we feel like the best fit is for our customers and for the platform, and that can handle everything a 24/7 platform requires. So yeah, we'll keep looking.
Cool. Thank you so much to Alan and Maya. Thank you guys for your questions. As always, if you have any more questions, we have a Telegram community where Alan and Tony and a few of our admins and mods are very active. So this is not the end. This is only the beginning, and we will continue communicating and keeping you updated with everything as it happens. And hopefully see you on another AMA very soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank
Thank
you, guys.
you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.